Well, it's the end of the week finally. This has undoubtedly been one of the longest weeks I've had it in a long time, and I'm glad it's done. But now I have another hour ride home. So I'll talk to you when I get home because my car mount's not working, and I'm just I just want to drive and not think about anything. So bye. Made it home. There was a lot of traffic like usual, and it was not enjoyable in the least. But I'm home, right? And that's all that matters. Did I ever tell you guys about the curious case of the mysterious pink people in Amsterdam? No? Do you want to hear about it? No? Well, too bad, because I'm going to make you listen to it anyway. So this story takes place on my most recent trip to Europe. Well, it just so happened that I was going to have a day all to myself, and I was kind of wondering what I wanted to do with that day. I mean, I could have stayed down in the city where Miko's from, or I could have gone and traveled out a little bit. And I had really got my sights set on going to Amsterdam. And I thought to myself, well, this would be the perfect opportunity for me to go out and take photographs, take some video. I'd have the whole day to do whatever I wanted and go wherever I wanted. My only issue was that no one was going to be able to drive me there. I was going to have to take public transportation to get all the way to Amsterdam. Now, it's about a 30 to 45 minute commute depending on how you're trying to get there, but it's not very close to where Miko's from. So I went ahead and asked Miko, hey, can I go do this? And she was like, yeah, sure, it shouldn't be an issue. So the day came. Miko and her sister drove me over to the train stop, and while there, her sister said, okay, you need to take this number train, and that's gonna take you directly there. So you're not gonna have to make any transfers. It's gonna be super simple. It should be hunky-dory whatsoever, whatever you wanna call it. So I'm thinking, great, this is wonderful. So they drop me off, and I get my equipment and my gear, and I start strutting in all confident. I'm an American, but I know where I'm going. And so I look up at the train schedule to find the number train that my sister-in-law told me to get. But I look at it, and instead of saying Amsterdam, it says Schwagelagen. I don't know what it's called, so I'm just gonna call it Schwagelagen. And I think to myself, wait a minute, she said I had to go to train number, we'll call it 12, and that would take me all the way to Amsterdam. But this says train number 12 is going to take me to Schwagelagen, and I don't want to go to Schwagelagen. I don't even know where Schwagelagen is. So I stand there, like, kind of looking back and forth, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and then it dawns on me, just go ask the information booth people. So I strut my way on over, and I ask the nice attendant there, I'm trying to get to Amsterdam. She looks at me with this face, eyes kind of half sunken, frowning like this, and doesn't really respond to me. She just didn't look like she wanted to be there that day. And so she goes, you have to take train number blah blah blah, and then you have to make a transfer for black blagen, and then black 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 black. And I'm like, okay. So I said, you know what? I don't know what she said or where I'm going, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I went down to the first train to Schlangenmagen, whatever it was, because I knew I heard that, and I got on it. And from that point on, I just followed the majority of people that were getting on and off train, and eventually I did make it to Amsterdam. Hooray! Anyways, but then I think to myself, uh-oh, I have to get home, and I don't know how I got here. Now, one thing that was happening throughout the day is that I started noticing a large amount of people with pink shirts on. At first, I thought it was just a bachelorette party, but then I started seeing more and 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 more people wearing pink. And so as I get closer and closer to the train station, I start seeing more and more pink. Now, I'm starting to wonder to myself, what's going on and what am I missing out on? So like a good sheep, I said, hey, I'm going to the train station, I'm gonna follow. So I walk on into the train station, only again to be confronted with the fact that I have no idea where I'm going. And then I saw all the pink people getting onto one train. And I thought to myself, maybe I should just jump on with them. So there I go. And I walked through the door, and I was hit with this wave of sweaty heat. It was hot in there. There was no air going at all. And it was packed side to side with extremely tall, drunk Dutchmen singing folk songs dressed in pink as we meandered down the railway track. I don't know what's going on. And I think if I asked, no one would have been able to give me an answer because they're all pretty, inebriated at this point. So some time goes on and we hit a stop. I don't know that stop, and no one else is getting off here, so I'm just gonna stay on here. So I stay on the train, another one, and we go about 2 more stops. At this point, all the pink people, all of them, every single one, rush out of the car. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to be left on this car. It's hot, it stinks, and there's no one here. I'm gonna be lonely. So I thought, well, I might as well just get off and see what's going on. So I get off the train and I start walking, and it's just
so confusing. There's so many pink people. I'm walking and I just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper to a sea of pink. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it like a breast cancer awareness thing? Is this just a national Dutch thing where they all dress up in pink and go hip 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 or something like that? I didn't understand what was happening. So I walk and I walk and I walk, and then it comes up to a stadium. And I see all the people walking into the stadium, and I'm like, well, I'll walk over to the stadium, why not? But then they all turned and looked at me, and one of them shouted, "He's not wearing a pink shirt!" I stood back shocked, noticing this wall of pink starting to close in on me. All of a sudden, their leader stepped forward in grand pink grandeur, and he said, "You do not belong here! People of the Pink Reich, attack!" I waited not 1 second and immediately started to fight for my life. I was taking them out left and right. I was actually making a dent in them, and they were falling by the hundreds at my feet. But then the Great Pink Master said, "Everybody gather!" And the Great Pink King stood up with his mighty pink sword and exclaimed, "Release the power of the Kraken!" And with a mighty blow, he came down like Thor's hammer. So I stood together with the power of friendship, and together we pushed with one big heave, and all of a sudden at the great climax, boom! Okay, that never actually happened. Here's what really happened. So I head back towards the train station because I have to. I don't have any other option other than to go up and talk to the information booth lady. And lo and behold, I made it home. So the first thing I did when I got home is I went and directly connected to the internet to find out what the heck the pink people were doing there. In the end, it was pretty anticlimactic because it turns out it was just a Dutch folk band. The Dutch people love this folk music. It's their lifeblood. And apparently when you go see this performance, you just go get hammered and sweaty. And so that's how I made it home from Amsterdam. Just a little story, nothing too crazy today. Have any of you had a similar experience where you just run into a large thing of pink Dutch people and don't know where to go? If so, make sure to leave a comment below and let me know. We should get a cup of tea sometime. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you find me or any of this content entertaining, would you consider subscribing? I'd be nice to have you jump on board. Well, I have to go to dinner right now, so I'll catch you guys on the flip side.